Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're going to get started on the gantry crane. New project. Got some cutting and welding to do. It's not going to be that difficult of a job, just going to be a little time consuming and just getting everything rigged up for lifting and setting down and that kind of stuff. But I'll take the camera out here and I'll show you what I'm going to do. I've been getting everything kind of set up and pre-cut and trying to roll things along. So I'm hoping today's Saturday, we're gonna have some nice weather. I'm hoping to get all 4 legs cut and re-welded today, and that's my goal for today. And as far as getting it in here, I still have plenty of other things to prep before I can even use the gantry in here. I could use it on this end of the shop once it's in here, but on that end of the shop, I've got conduit coming over for the Victor lathe that I'm gonna have to move, and I've got my airline and the conduit for the Monarch there. So I have plans to rerun the conduit down to the back wall and underneath, just behind the machine, so that the rollers for the gantry can clear everything. I'll end up moving my air hose so that it's not hanging there in the way. So once we have all that done, I'll be able to use this thing from the very back of the shop, and I'll actually be able to roll it all the way up here, even over the K&T and over here to the welding machine. So it'll be a nice addition in here and have 1,000-pound lifting capabilities if I need to. I'll definitely need it for the K&T here whenever I want to install the vertical milling head on this machine. So anyway, let me take you out there, show you what I'm going to do, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. Okay, so there I believe you can see the entire gantry crane, and I've got the saw set up. I've been doing some cutting. These are going to be these 2-inch square tubing. I got 2 of those. The tubing is going to replace the angle iron there on each side, and I've also got some of this flat bar. I've had 4 pieces of this, so these are going to be cut, and what I'm going to do, basically I'm going to put them there like that, and I'm going to weld those in place. So once I cut the bottom off right there, I'll still have support holding the pipe together and keep them centered. So those will be welded on for a temporary anyway. And then once I'm going to cut them here. I'm going to measure 4 inches. We're going to cut them off, and then I'll take all this and I'll grind all that off and cut it away, and then we'll set the pipes down on the plates and re-weld them, and just be the same thing on that side right there. So that's the plan anyway. I'll get this welded on first on each side, and then I can use my engine lift over here and actually pick that up and hold it, you know, and then set it back down as needed. So that is the plan. That's a good look at the A-frame. Now this side here, or either side, but probably this side, I'm gonna have to remove. I need to cut a little bit of this off, and that's so that I don't have any kind of rubbing issues against the wall, because it will be really close to the wall in the back by the Monarch. So we may be trimming something like 6 or 8 inches off that right there. I'll probably use the torch whenever I end up doing that. So that's the project for today, and we're going to go ahead and get started on it. Okay, first step, I'm going to tack those on the inside. So what I've done is just Sharpie marked them, and I'm going to bring my grinder out here with a flap disc. I'm going to remove all that paint, and then we'll set these back up just like this on these jack stands, and I'll just run a little weld bead enough to hold this good on both sides there, and then we'll do that on this side also. Alright, we're going to go ahead and start welding this on. I don't think I'll need one on the bottom side of that bar. Again, that's just to hold the bars in place until I can set it back down onto the pads there and weld them on the bottom mounting plates there. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the Miller-Matic 251 today, and I still have my flux core wire set up from the last job that I did whenever I was building the vise pedestal. So I'm just going to use that. I was going to do some stick welding, but this is a little bit more convenient, so I pulled it out here. Using some of my C-clamps that I found at the flea market to hold the bars on. Thought I'd point that out. Give you a shot here. Okay, those look good. Should be plenty strong. So, all right, let's do that on the other side. Okay, we got both the bars tacked on there. So next step, I'm going to start with one side. We'll probably just start here. I'm going to go ahead and pick this up and one more notch higher on the jack stands here. I'll set it down on the bar here. I'm going to take the wheels off, and then we're going to go ahead and scribe a line or mark a line on both of them 4 inches up from the top of the base plate right here. Okay, we'll mark us a line so that we can use our cutoff wheel on our grinder to just try to make a nice even cut all the way across there. Go ahead and drop these wheels off. Okay. Man, them suckers are heavy. I'll find it. I got a lock washer down there somewhere. Good time to grease those. That's the casters, man. These used to have like a green rubber around them, and they started getting brittle and coming off, so I just chipped them all off there. I might look into replacing these casters with some other ones like it that's got the rubber so that they're not so noisy when they roll, but as of right now, these are paid for and free. All right, I'm going to give this top of this plate just a nice little clean up with the rapid strip, just to kind of smooth it up. And then what I'm going to do is use one of my little surface gauges to mark 4 inches on each side of this for cutting. right, that's good. Now I'm just going to go down there and do the same on the other end. I got this little surface gauge set up with one of my Sharpies, and I have it set for 4 inches. So I've got everything snugged up, so I should be able to take this guy and just kind of scribe me a line around it, even with the plate right here. It's 4 inches. That's what we want. By the way, just to remind you, I needed at least a good 3 inches to clear my lights. 3 inches would probably clear. It's going to be really close, so I wanted to give myself 1 extra inch of clearance there. So once I go in there with it, I'll have to roll it back for the first time slowly and make sure that all the lights do clear. But that was why I'm removing the 4 inches right there. So looks like this is working pretty good. So this will give me a nice line to follow with my grinding wheel. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to reach the very end right here, but I can get all the rest of it. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started cutting. So this is the setup I'm going to use, this 6-inch Metabo with the cut-off disc here. And I'm just going to come in as level as I can and try to follow my line all the way around it and get her cut off. Working good. Okay, we got liftoff on one of them. So we'll repeat on this end down here. That went pretty good. This is just a much cleaner method than trying to use a cutting torch, and I don't have a plasma cutter. There she is. So we'll go I'll probably do this in the shop since I can clamp it up in the table. And we'll go ahead and cut all this off, grind it smooth, and then we'll weld them back on there, okay? All right, first thing I'm gonna do is we're just gonna go ahead and chop the center part of this angle iron off. Then I can get in there and start grinding it and getting it all knocked loose from there, okay? There's the angle, what's left of it. So now I can go around and grind some of this down right here and get this pipe off. Alright, so this week I actually intended on buying a handful of the 6-inch cutoff wheels for the Metabo, and I completely forgot about it. Every day I kept forgetting about it, and then now it's Saturday. I've only got 2 good cutoff wheels for that, and I still have one side to cut off, so I want to make sure I save that 6-inch cutoff wheel. But I got all kind of abrasives here, and I decided I'm going to go ahead and bust out my big Black & Decker 9-inch right here. I just got a brand new grinding wheel on here, and this belonged to my dad. This is an extremely well-built grinder. It's got a lot of torque and a lot of power, and I've used it many years, and so did my dad. So I'm going to use this to go around each side halfway and just grind those welds off and knock that pipe off out of the way. I've got several of these wheels, so you know, I'm just going to use this and get to show the big boy in the video a little bit. Those big grinders like that, you have a lot more surface area. That thing can really move some metal. The disadvantage is that they're big and heavy, and they're a little more awkward to handle than the 4.5-inch and the 6-inch grinders. But you need to have one like this for certain jobs. Look at that. Got it right on off there. Did a good job. So I'll be using this to remove all the pipes off there and save my cutoff wheels for what I really need them for, okay? So I'll go over that and dress it, you know, clean before we go and weld it back on there. All right, so, all right, I'm just gonna continue on with, got that one, and then I gotta cut the other side. So we got plenty of cutting to do. All right, so what we're gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and pick this up, and I'm gonna take these jack stands out because I need them for this other side. Those are the tallest jack stands I have. I don't want to lower it all the way down to the ground. I just want to lower it down some. So I'm gonna put it on those other jack stands over there. So, and then these will go over here to this side. You can see just how flexible this thing actually is when it's not sitting on its feet. That I-beam up there twist. That's what that is. It's just that I-beam. All right. A little bit rickety on those jack stands, but that's just the nature of how they're built. They're not rigid, they move around, but they're pinned and they ain't gonna fall over because they're down inside there. All right guys, I just got to repeat what I just did. Take the wheels off, clean the paint good, scribe the line around it using the surface gauge, and then cut them off with the cutoff wheel. So to save video, I'm not going to show this side right here, just maybe a couple highlights, and try to move on to the next phase, okay? Okay, update time, guys. I've got all 4 of the plates are prepped and ready to be welded back onto the pipes. You can see I've got them all out there. And I didn't take any video of lowering it down. I just lowered down each side. And but I'm going to point out a couple things, okay? So right now I'm trying to get everything level and plumb and square. And there's some things that I'll point out. The first thing is my slab is not completely flat and level. Whenever they did this, they put a very slight slope there just so it would help drain. All right, I checked this. I checked the beam with a level before I ever cut it, okay? And I was about a half a bubble off. Just depends on where you stick the level at up there. Okay, so I've put the level down here on the ground like this, and it depends on where you put it. I'm getting anywhere from a half a bubble to some places the bubble goes all the way to the left there, okay? I'm trying to match it up here. Just depends on where you stick it, but I've pretty much matched it. Okay, on this side right here I've got a 1/8 welding rod underneath that, and I got one underneath that one too. This side was slightly lower, so I shimmed it up with the 1/8 TIG rod right there. And I believe what happened there was on this side, I cut it right on the line. And I remember when I came over here to this side to cut, I was just below the cut line. So I think that was the difference right there. So anyway, we're just trying to shim it as close as we can. And okay, the next thing that I'm going to point out is level this way, okay? As far as the beam goes, whoever built this did not weld that beam in square and level that way. Not a big deal. The trolley that sits on here hangs down, your hook hangs from it, so I think this has always been out of square, and you just never know it. It's no big deal, but you can see it plain as day when I put it up there. See, so I'm not gonna get crazy trying to shim this thing, you know, like this, trying to chase that bubble up there, because I think it's just how it was built. All right, so there's a lot of fitting involved, trying to get things right. The welding is the easy part, but I've almost got this side ready to tack it in. So you see me make my circles on the plates, and that's just to help center up the plate. So this side I've got centered up well, and then what I've done is I took my the tubing is what's going to be welded on to attach those plates together. And what I've done is I bumped them square with each other, up against the edge there and over there. And this measurement here is even matching down there. So it's nice and square so that your wheels will track straight, okay? So I'll have to do that over here to this side still. I haven't done that. So the plates are probably kicked around a little bit. I've still got to center that one up a little bit better. So that's what I'm working on. But this side I believe is ready. I'm going to do a final check, make sure it's nice and square. And if it is, I'm going to go ahead and get these plates tacked, because every time you try to move one side, it moves the other side. Okay, so I want to get one side done, and then we'll move over there and I'll square up that side and get that side tacked. All right, bright light, my auto darkening is not working. All right, we've got that side squared in. Everything's nice and even. The spacing is the same on both ends there. Everything's nice and centered and square. I've checked the plumb up here again, and I'm still working on that half a bubble. So I think everything's good. One of the things that I forgot to mention earlier was when I was talking about leveling this up. We're going to be very close. Now, it may not be perfect the way I welded up right now, but what we're going to do is once I get it inside the shop, I'll be able to monitor it, check it with a level, and see if this trolley, you know, is trying to fall to one side or not. If it is, then I can just shim the casters, you know, with some washers or something if I need to pick one side up, you know. So just keep that in mind. We can still shim it to get it really tuned in if we need to. So, all right, we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get this other side tacked in. I'm putting 4 heavy tacks on both pipes, and what I've decided to do, I hate working on the ground. I hate working on my knees. I'm a big guy. I like standing up or sitting down in the stool. So it'll be a little bit easier if I put the casters on it. So I'm tacking it in, and then I'm going to pick it back up, bolt the casters to it, and once I do that, I'll do my welding around the pipes there. Good. All right, all the tacks look pretty good. Get this straightened up and I'll start putting casters back on it. Go for a ride. Need to get one side picked up, set down on those jack stands, and then come over here to this other side and pick it up some, so it's not such a bad angle there. Alright, gonna go ahead and start bolting these things on. Another reason why I want to go ahead and get the casters on and set back down on the ground is I want to go ahead and check the height of this thing before this all gets welded up, just to make sure that I was right. I give myself an inch clearance, so I hope everything goes well. All right, we got all 4 casters bolted on and tightened down, and it's together, moving again. And the clearance that I have inside from the concrete to the bottom of the fluorescent lights is 101 inches. I just measured it, I just double checked. So it should have been around 100 inches or so on my height here. So we'll check it. And as I said, hopefully it'll be right, but if it's gonna be a little too tight, in some places, maybe the ceiling's a little lower, one spot that I didn't know about, what I can do is take these, the caster frames there, and I can re-drill that hole for the pin to actually drop it down again if I need. That looks like 99.5, so I think we did it. That should put me about inch and a half clearance underneath the lights. So that'll be maximum height right there. Nice. Okay, well, I'm waiting on my contractor buddy to stop by. We're going to talk about the ceiling, the roof. So he should be here any time. And I don't know if I'm going to get these welded today or if I'm going to come out in the morning and do it. But you'll see it regardless. That's turning out good. We're on our way. Well, it's a new day, and I'm going to go ahead and finish the welding that I need to do. I didn't finish it yesterday because the contractor had stopped by to go over everything on the roof extension. So and he hung out a while. He was here for probably a couple hours, and we just went over all kind of stuff. And while he was here in the process, he used to work for Gulf Power, so he's very good with electrical. He was able to help me fix my Hobart Charger for the forklift. So I have a forklift that's working again. So that worked out pretty good. So I decided this morning what I'm going to do is pick this sucker up, and I'm going to set these bars here on each side down on those old metal sawhorses. Those come from my old shop, and that way it'll be at a little bit more of a comfortable height for me for welding instead of getting down on my knees. So that's what we're going to do. I'll pick it up. I already picked it up once, but you know, it's just the I-beam up there, so these, once you pick it up, and these are free falling, I mean, they just rock back and forth. So I'm going to set them down on the horses there. So I'll get the camera set up and see if you can see me pick this thing up. I was actually hoping I could weld the cross tubes while it's up in the air, but the stands are actually going to be right in the middle of the way, so that ain't going to work out for me. Might do this again though. What I could probably do is go ahead and get them cut. You know, after these are welded, lower it down, cut them, weld them, tack them on there good, and pick it back up. But I don't know. We'll see. So that worked out pretty good. That's probably going to be the last time I get to use that forklift way up high like that out here anyway. Next week there should be a roof out here. All right, let's get to welding. Just giving you a peek at the welding. Again, I'm using the 045 flux core with gas. Just makes a nice weld on heavy materials. All right, so now on to this side. Just getting the two pieces of tubing cut to the proper length. These are the ones that's going to lay across the pads and get welded to each one, support it. One helpful tip that I can give you that was given to me many years ago is whenever you're cutting tubing like this that's got a weld seam in there, put your weld seam to the top side instead of it being on the bottom or on the back side here. I was told that it's more helpful on your blade if the weld seam is on the top and it's cutting down through it that way to the inside instead of starting on the inside or the back and cutting down through it. Just what I was told many years ago, and that's how I've always remembered it. I always put the weld seam on the top. In this case, it's right here along this edge, right here. Okay, so that's where the support is going, the tubing. We got one side clamped down hard with the vice grips and got the other side there ready. And I'm just going to put a simple fillet weld on each side of the tube there. Get that on both sides and we'll be finished. I'm not going to pick it back up. We're just going to weld it down here on the ground. Thankfully I got my comfortable knee pad that Kevin gave me. Touchdown. All right, well, we're on the last phase of the project now, and all that is just removing this bar. So we're going to use the Hitachi and just split our welds with a cut-off wheel, knock the bar off. I got the other Hitachi there with a flap disc that I'll dress it, and do that on both sides, and we'll be done. There it is. And we'll come back and dress these welds off with the flap disc. Well guys, the Gantry project is done. All of the weld and fab is completed. So all we got left to do is just get it in the shop. But everything worked out pretty good. It's nice and rigid. And it'll clear the lights too. So like I said, I've already double checked that, and it should clear all the lights hopefully. I'm looking forward to getting it in there and putting it to use. And once it's inside, I plan on putting a fresh coat of paint on it also and make it look nice. So everything worked out well. So when we go to put it in, I'll take some footage of that and show you how we manage that also. I got a friend that's offered to come and help with. He's got a little tractor. He says that he could come and help if I want. So I may give him a call and use this little tractor to get it in there. So hope you guys enjoyed watching this build, and I'll see you soon, okay?